How are you? Listen, you always giving us a look with the hair, the glam, the wardrobe all the time. You do it. How are you feeling today? You guys are killing it. Season 2, All-American Homecoming. How are you feeling?
I feel really good. I'm just really grateful to be able to sit here and say that we have a season 2. Not many shows get this far, you know what I mean? And we've made history as the first original Black cast for the CW network. So, I mean, I think that we're in a good place, and I'm happy that people support the show from all different ages, backgrounds. You know, I think it's beautiful, and that's what the world looks like. It looks like just being a part of something that touches people. So I'm just happy to be a part of that and continue to celebrate it.
I'm celebrating you because you are a fellow HBCU student. You are, listen, Clark, Atlanta. I went to PV. You better listen. Look, ain't no beast, okay? How much of your own experience are you bringing to Simone's character, to Simone each week? Talk to us about that.
I would say I think it's kind of based on just the direction of the stories and the arcs that Simone goes through. I kind of have to pivot back to, you know, when I was 18, 19. I remember the first time I took a step on the promenade. Once my mom left, I said, girl, bye. It's time for the streets of Atlanta. But outside of that, it was kind of like, oh, my God, like, I'm by myself. I have to grow up. I have to start making decisions. I have to start reaping what I sow. I have to start accepting the consequences for my actions, and it does kind of take a next step to adulthood and to maturing and to just the ebb and flow of being in college and what that means. And again, like, people think about college as fun, and it is fun. Don't get me wrong. It's very fun, but those are some of the most pivotal years of my life personally, and I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to see it through, to graduate, to get my degree, and to do it safely with God by my side, literally. Because, you know, there's horror stories that you hear, and there's so much, especially that these kids have to tackle now with their mental health and, you know, continuous political and social injustice, and, you know, to know that these kids have to literally grow up in this still. You know, it's hard. It's hard to be a young adult in this day and age, but I think that the show that we're on, the show that we're celebrating, the show that we're supporting, the kids that watch it, it's really ultimately is for them. So everything that I do when it comes to Simone, I try to think about my experiences, and I also try to think about who's watching me and the example that I have to show up with.
You're definitely showing up with an example. So many people are watching you and celebrating you and cheering for you, not only for your love life, but because you are a student athlete who plays tennis. We don't see that often, especially in HBCU. What has that journey been like for you to explore that story and tell that part of Simone's story, you know, as she explores not only being at an HBCU, a Black young woman dating, but trying to dominate in this sport that's not so, you know, common and typical?
Yeah, you know, the biggest thing about tennis, it is not an easy sport. And the first thing that I wanted to do when I did join the show was, like, I have to learn the fundamentals. I have to learn the technique. Obviously, I'm not going to be Venus and Serena or Naomi or Coco Gauff tomorrow. You know what I mean? But I still wanted to do my part as an artist, and I wanted to immerse myself in the sport just to kind of give more than respect, you know, more than just the words. I wanted to actually actively put it into the work. And it's hard. It's hard to do, and it's a male-dominated sport. But as a woman, you know what we go through as women, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. So for them to dominate still, it's an honor to be able to tell a story like that. And I try to do my best to ensure that every forehand that I do, every backhand that I do, that it's correct, that it's honorable to the sport, and it's honorable to the work that these women do every single day, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours a day, you know, or even more. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I feel like we are doing our job at making sure that we are respecting the art and the craft of tennis. And as long as people can watch and sit here and say thank you and support what we're doing, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep celebrating. I'm going to keep doing my best and hope that people just love what we do.
Girl, we love what you do, and keep killing it and keep doing what you're doing, because so many people are inspired by you. Before I let you go, what can you tease for the upcoming episode? What can we expect?
You trying to get me fired, girl?
No, I'm not, girl. We trying to get a season 3. Hello?
Okay. You know, I would just say, and I say this often when I get this question, I would just say whoever you're rooting for, whoever you're celebrating, just be open to their journey, and you're going to be excited for their destination, or you might be heartbroken, or you might be elated, or you might be questioning. But I think the purpose of TV and the purpose of these stories is to just go on the journey. So I don't like to give away too much. I like to let people see and wait. You know what I mean? But I think that they should just expect the unexpected, and also just expect to go on the journey.
We going on a journey, girl. We're not going nowhere. We going on a journey. Yes, congratulations. Keep killing it. Thank you. Okay, listen, let's dive right into it. All-American Homecoming. You guys are delivering the goods. You actually, though, went to Chapman University. So what is it like exploring college through the lens of an HBCU?
Gosh, I'm so glad you asked me that because I definitely went to the opposite of an HBCU, the PSWs of PWI. And on top of that, like, I'm an equestrian. I actually started the equestrian team there at the school, so I was in the whitest sports at the whitest school. And, you know, my dad, he actually went to dental school at Howard. My grandfather went to medical school at Howard. So my uncle is a professor at Howard.
How did you end up at Chapman?
Okay,
That's for another day.
that's for another day, but basically they're the only ones who took me in California, and I wanted to be here to act. So unfortunately, there were no HBCUs here for me to choose from, so Chapman was the closest.
You're like,
Take that out. So yeah, but going to Princeton has given me such a beautiful experience. I've learned so much about HBCUs. I've learned so much about just like the things they teach, why it's important, the people who've gone to HBCUs I didn't even know, just through walking through our memorial hall or our alumni hall. I see names on there that I didn't even expect, you know, or know that, you know, Common, he went to HBCU, who would have known? I didn't know. Now I know. So, I mean, it's been really nice. It's given me a second chance to actually go and experience that culture, and it's beautiful. So thank you, NK, and thank you to all the writers who give me that experience through the show.
definitely. You're an honorary HBCU student.
That's something.
Listen, talk to us about Thea and like her evolution this season. Talk to us about that journey for her.
Her evolution is beautiful to me. I'm so proud of her. She's obviously come a long way from the single-minded, focus on tennis only and nothing but tennis girl. She's been able to make real friendships and have a beautiful relationship. And although that has seemed to come to an end, spoiler alert, this past episode, but the fact that she's been able to connect to humans and connect to people, where before she connected to tennis court and her racket. And so yeah, I think she has a lot of work to do, but she's in therapy, she's addressing her mental health, and she's carrying herself like a very graceful, elegant young woman, promising young woman who has a great career in tennis ahead of her.
I love that. You also play tennis in your real life too, right? Did you draw up on that experience?
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Mostly because Thea is such a competitive person, and competitiveness is literally at the core of my being, especially with sports, ping pong, anything really, racing. I just had that in me, and Thea has that dog in her. I had that dog in me. I was undefeated throughout high school, playing #1 seed on the tennis team throughout from freshman year to senior year, and never lost. And I think that is like, if you're thinking about Thea, that was Thea. If she had gone to regular high school. So yeah, I definitely draw on that. And I think when I'm on the court and I'm playing like matches, I always emulate just me on the tennis court when I was younger, and getting hyped after points, giving it my all, running up for everything. So yeah.
Girl, we love to see it. Keep running after everything, because we're running after you on screen. Yes, of course. Period. And your braids, you have a look. You're ready. I love it. I'm so excited to talk to you because we were first introduced to you in All-American, and looking at your journey and your trajectory so far to now being on All-American Homecoming. What has this journey been like for you?
For me personally, it's just been a blessing, right? So it's one of those things where you can't take it for granted. There's no guarantees in this industry, and just to have the chance to work is the goal, first and foremost. And so it's nice when you're recognized for the work you're doing. Like, I got to come to All-American and just create a vibe, just be a vibe, you know what I mean, while I'm there, just enjoy the dream that we were all creating and all working on. And that was respected, that was honored, and you don't get that often. So it's really fulfilling to feel like the family wanted me here. They wanted me here full time. So, yeah.
You are definitely a vibe, and you definitely bring the vibes. But I love the storylines that Cam is exploring this season, because I think so many people, especially at HBCU, can relate to the financial aid, paying for school. Listen, I was there. The mental health aspect also. Talk to us about what it's been like to explore these stories and share them with the world.
Yeah, vulnerability is important for us all to kind of see, right? It encourages us all to just be real with how we're feeling. And so with mental health right now in the media, we're trying to attack it in a way that's real. And I love the fact that Cam was willing to embrace his emotions about what was going on with the bomb threat, so to speak. And he wasn't afraid to shy away from that feeling of being endangered and being at risk. And I think it's important to have people who are willing to embrace their emotions and speak out about it, so that we can all kind of find that language for ourselves. Yeah. So,
what have you learned from this character? This character has evolved, right, since we were first introduced. What's been the biggest thing that you've learned from Cam?
I think one of the biggest things I've learned is one of the biggest things Cam has learned, which is the importance of community. So if you take it back to All American, me coming in as a guest star, I wasn't, so to speak, a part of the full family, right? And so I was just coming in, doing my job, being solo, being isolated, and I realized over time, everyone's there for me. Everyone wants to see me win. They want to hear me sing. They want to see me dance. And it was something that I was holding back on in my personal life, because I'm just trying to navigate the industry, not do too much, I think the same thing is true for Cam, where he was, on the flip side, he was trying to do too much with football, and he was trying to be overly impressive, and he realized that he doesn't have to do that much because people are going to embrace him regardless. And so I feel like we both share that, and as far as what I've learned from the character.
That's so deep. Listen, keep bringing it. You are killing it. I love this show. I love what you bring. You are definitely a vibe, so keep being a vibe. Yes. Have a look going on. It's giving. I like the monochromatic look. We're definitely twinning. Yes, I love it. How are you feeling tonight, my brother? You've been killing it. All-American Homecoming. Talk to us about this season 2. It's been a lot of action, a lot of very important stories being told. Talk to us about how you approach your character in this season and what we get to see play out on screen.
Season 2 was great. We get to see JR take a large responsibility as being Dean of Pledges. We see him get to go through the process of being an older brother, being still team captain. But also I have the backstory. Going into it, I had the backstory of all the information that I found out season 1. So it made it a little easier going into this, because we get the scripts probably like a few days before we start filming. So now that I got the whole backstory of season 1, it made it a little easier going into season 2. See, I'm speaking of
You better.
Existence already.
Better speaking.
No, it made it a little. It made it a little easier going into season 2. And then I have great people like this writing amazing episodes for JR to really dig deep.
How much of JR or how much of you do you pull from to bring to your character?
A lot. JR gets a lot of Sylvester as far as having a big heart, wanting to make sure everybody around him good, and just wanting to make sure, family and everything stays intact. So, and the love and the smile. Yeah. So JR
you definitely have the smile. What I love about you, Sylvester, is that you have been very open and vocal about your faith, and times when, the chips were down, you still relied on your faith and your family is what I love. Talk to us about how important that has been in getting you to where we are now, to get to see you each week on screen.
I wouldn't be me without it. I used to walk up and down Warner Brother at night and pray. And pray to be in this position. So, and then if I didn't have my family members and people around me being able to call and uplift me, and then being able to encourage me and believe in me when I didn't believe in myself. So if any one of those pieces was missing, or if any one of those individuals that God placed in my life was missing, I wouldn't be here. I'm just the front person. I'm the face. There's a whole team of people behind me that is the reason why I'm standing here today. I'm just the face.
That's a word. Come on, Sylvester. That's why I knew I liked you. A word and a smile. Congratulations on everything. you're doing an amazing job. This show is so important, so thank you for what you bring. Let's dive right in. All-American Homecoming. Talk to us about this process, because we first were introduced to the show in the pilot, and then we got the season 1. Season 2, you guys have knocked it out of the park. Talk to us about what this journey has been like for you being on this show.
This has been an absolutely amazing journey. I thank God that I'm able to be a part of this journey, as you said, going from the pilot that was in season 3 of All American, where we first kind of get a glimpse of Amara and Princeton University and this HBCU life, and then to where Simone has said, yes, I'm going to attend this university, and going through the issue with her mom not paying for her dorm, and that relationship between Amara and Tina, so volatile. And then over time, we get to see that relationship evolve into these sisters forgiving one another, loving one another, and everything that Simone is now finding out who she is, what she wants to do in the midst of not knowing, and then everything that surrounds her. Things have just really begun to unfold in season 2, where we get to know these people more, and we see relationships unfold and start and end and all of the things. So it's been incredible.
Speaking of relationships, talk to us about what's unfolding with your character and the coach. Give us a little bit of insight into what we can expect, and like, what was it like tackling that storyline?
It was tackling that storyline, because there's always a part of you that you bring from your past experiences into what you are dealing with right now. And so without telling all my business, there was stuff that I can pull from my past experiences, and heartbreak, and wanting to have a relationship work, and the other person not wanting the relationship to work, whether they know it or they feel like they don't have any control, because that's kind of what Marcus felt like. Tina said, I wasn't the best for you, and look what happened, I'm not. And Amara's just like, but if you would have given me the chance, I would have told you, you are enough. And so I thought that was a beautiful moment that we got to see in season 1, where she said, you are enough, but then she was afraid of like, yeah, she should. Correct. I'm not going to give you the opportunity to hurt me like that again. And then she got to see this different side of Marcus, that he really wants to show up, and he means it. And so now that's where they are, like, I'm going to take a chance on us again, and you better not disappoint me.
And the folks on Twitter are cheering. They're like, yes, we are so happy for her. Talk to us about why this show is so important. We had a different world, back to show us what college life, black college life at an HBCU looked like. But this show, I feel like it dives deeper into societal issues, mental health, so many different important issues that students on college are facing and have faced, but HBCUs were not highlighted in the way that they are now. Talk to us about why this show is so important in advocating for the HBCU experience, but also shining the light on the issues that those students, even the faculty, faces.
Yeah, to your point, you mentioned one show, A Different World, and that was it. That's what we had, A Different World, and that was a comedy. And then they still tackled different things, but it felt like the moment they got ready to really go deep, it was like, and it's over, and cut. And so we as a nation need to understand that there is so much more diversity to us as Black people. And specifically in this HBCU world, this experience, it is different. And so I think this show is important to highlight that, to show that we deal with real life things, mental illness. I love that we were able to address that in a Black man, because let's be very clear, Black men don't really jive with talking about what they're dealing with, but it doesn't mean that you're not dealing with something, and you need to talk about it. And so I love that it is Marcus who is going through that, as opposed to Amara or another female on the show. Show a Black man, you have issues and you need to get help. And it's okay to get help, and you will be supported in getting that help, because when you get help, as Marcus did, he was able to reach out and help someone else. And so understanding that it is so much bigger than us. And I think that's why this show is important, because it is so much bigger than us. We are teaching our world how to see us in all of our complexities and beautifulness and blackness and excellenceness.
Everything.
Everything.
You are everything. This show is everything. We're so excited about this show. I was excited when I was introduced to the show, like as a tease. I was like, okay, I need more of this. And now it's breaking barriers. So many people are having conversations. And I think that's important, when the conversations and the dialogue are opened up. What's been the response for you from viewers? I'm sure people are tweeting you. Obviously, love, they're happy about the love aspect of it. But what's been the response from the viewers at home that are watching each week?
What I think I love about the response is they love how Amara gives wisdom, how she is like that voice of reason, that voice of comfort, that voice that's like, I'm going to check you a little bit. I love you, but you're not going to do that. And I think that's something that really resonates with people, because it is this idea of like, people want to hear the hard things. They just need to hear it from a place of love. And I think that that's what really resonates with people about Amara, that's my auntie.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. When people are like, hey, auntie, hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, auntie, you killing it. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Listen, I guess we are all doing yes. I'm so happy about that. Marquis, how are you? Listen, you're booked and blessed, and I'm good. I'm talking to you here tonight. You were promoted from season 1 to season 2. You were up. Listen, I better. Yes, you were promoted. You were up to EP and co-showrunner for this season. Talk to us about what that responsibility, or what went into that responsibility and load, and what you were preparing to deliver for season 2, because you guys have delivered some very important storylines this season. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because people ask me, it's like, oh, Marquis, was it as much work as you thought it was going to be? I was like, yes, but I didn't anticipate, because you're used to like work-life balance, right? I wasn't expecting the work balance, because as a showrunner, it's just like, you know, you might be in the writer's room, you might have your own scripts to write, but the rest of the show happens in concert with that. You know, and you might have 4 different issues that are competing for your time, and all of those issues are important. The managerial part of it, because I was used to managing the writing staff in season 1, but when you're co-showrunning, you're managing the rest of the crew too. And people might come at you with a situation and they're hot, they're mad about it because they've been thinking about it, and you have to like listen to them, process, make sure they're being heard, and then try to figure out what the problem is and try to figure out a solution. So the managerial part of it was a big addition to it. Just more meetings, definitely more responsibility, more decision making. So yeah, it was kind of what I was doing last year, but then times like 5 or 6. And it's so funny because like when you're show running, I call myself a fireman and a plumber, because you're putting out fires and plugging holes all day long, but you don't know what the problems are until you're in it. So you have to learn how to pivot and think on your feet and ask questions.
He just dropped a gem on being a showrunner. That was showrunner class right there. I love it. Marquis, talk to us about this season, though, season 2, the stories that we have seen. You talked a little bit about overseeing the writer's room in season 1, but like overseeing, a wide spectrum of things this season. But what goes into these sessions when you come up with these ideas of, okay, we're going to tackle this, we're going to tackle mental health, we're going to tackle failed drug test, things that we see, societal issues that we see playing out, but playing out in a different way at an HBCU with people that look like you and I, and people at home that can resonate with these characters. Talk to us about how you guys decide on what stories to tell.
It's so funny because like almost a year ago, in case you're Carol, who created the show and co-show runs with me, she and I sat down, we had a meeting, and we talked about season 2 and what we wanted. And off the jump, we knew we wanted to do a bomb scare episode. And after that, we also knew we wanted the next episode to be about mental health and the release and processing what happened. So that was 2 episodes right there. The episode that you'll see coming up, episode 13, that's based on a real story, and we knew we had to do that. So by design, there are stories that we are uniquely designed to tell. So we have to tackle those, and then it's about how we tackle those. And so yeah, we had a kind of broad stroke list of things we wanted to do. Then we brought those to the writers, and we talked about it again as a group. And it's just the different input from our writers and their experiences and their HBCU experiences. And we literally have like 2 huge whiteboards, and then we just started slotting ideas into episodes and moving and adjusting and creating a framework that was pretty solid, but not so tightly wound that we couldn't make adjustments if we found new things along the way. But a lot of it's just like, your showrunners getting together and casting and creating a vision for everyone else to kind of spark from and add to.
I mean, look, I'm a product of an HBCU. There is plenty of source. I went to Prairie View. There's plenty. Yeah, okay, listen. There's plenty of source material as it relates to what goes into an HBCU. What's been your greatest joy of being a part of telling these stories?
Man, that's a really good question. I think just broad strokes, putting Black students and Black people on the air and seeing them be excellent at what they do. Seeing them support each other. See, and I'm a firm believer in found families, and so that's something that that's kind of baked into our show. And so it really means a lot to all of us to really portray Black students and Black people in a positive light. Not necessarily always perfect, but striving to be better than who they are and where they are, and wanting to go somewhere. And really seeing Black people in different sports that you don't always see. Like, so tennis, yes, Serena Williams, but like, if you're not Serena, what about all the other Black women and men that play the sport? What about baseball? You don't see a lot of Black baseball players, little leaguers, because the sport is expensive. So you don't necessarily think that, hey, that's something I can do, because you don't always see it. So I think another reason why I love the show is putting portrayals of people of color that you don't always see. Because hopefully there's a kid out there that sees our show, sees our characters, and is like, I can do that too.
That's what's happening, Marquis. You guys are doing incredible work. So excited about this, and please, this show needs to come back for season 3.
Listen.
What do we need to do?
Listen, email the CW and pray. If you're praying, folks, yes.
We will be praying for sure. We stand in agreement. Congratulations,
Thank you
Marquis.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you. So nice to meet you.